I refused to return a tip and told a couple that I don't have time to play mediator. So I'm a waitress at Texas Roadhouse, and this happened last Tuesday during the dinner rush. I'm 22, working 2 jobs to get through college, and honestly, most shifts are whatever. But this one was different. I got sat with this table, husband, wife, and their daughter who looked about 17. Normal enough. I do my usual thing, get their drink orders, and the wife asks for a margarita. Cool. Then the husband goes to order a beer, and I swear to God, the wife just loses it right there in front of me. She goes, no, he will not have a beer. He'll have a water. Then she turns to him and starts going off about how he's driving and he doesn't need to be drinking. He fires back saying no, their daughter can drive them home. They're just going back and forth, and I'm standing there with my notepad like an idiot. Here's the thing. In this job, you get put in situations like this all the time, and there's no winning. If I bring him the beer, she's gonna be pissed and won't tip. If I don't bring him the beer, he's gonna be pissed and won't tip. Either way, I'm screwed. And they just kept arguing at me, not even with each other anymore, like I was supposed to be the referee or something. So finally, I just said it. Listen, I really don't have time to play mediator here. They both went dead silent. The daughter looked like she wanted to crawl under the table. I walked away, put in the order for both drinks, the margarita and the beer, and brought them back. When I came back with the drinks, the wife saw that beer and her face went red. The daughter gave me this look like, I'm so sorry my mom is insane, and I felt bad for her honestly. The rest of the meal was tense as hell. The wife barely looked at me except to glare every time I came by to refill waters or check on them. The husband ordered a second beer, then a third. The wife stopped drinking her margarita halfway through and just sat there stewing. After they finished eating, the wife and daughter went out to the car. The husband stayed behind to pay. He looked at the check, pulled out his wallet, and then dropped 2 20s on top of the bill. The tab was only $68. I looked at him and said, "Sir, I can't accept this." He just shook his head and said, "You earned it, take it." I tried one more time to give it back, but he waved me off and walked out. I pocketed the $40 and went about my shift. We were slammed, so I didn't even have time to think about it. About an hour later, I'm taking an order at another table when I hear someone yelling my name. I turn around and it's the wife. She's back, and she is pissed. She marches up to me in the middle of the dining room and goes, "I want that tip back, right now." I'm confused for a second, and then it clicks. I told her I couldn't do that. She starts going off about how I was a terrible server, how I went against her wishes, how I supplied her husband with alcohol when she explicitly said no, and how I don't deserve a single dollar of that tip. Other tables are starting to stare. My manager comes over and asks what's going on. The wife repeats everything, saying I'm required to give her the money back because her husband was drunk when he left it. My manager looks at her and says, "Ma'am, she is not obligated to give you her tip. You left the restaurant. The tip has already been processed. Have a nice night." The wife absolutely loses it. She starts screaming at me, calling me all kinds of names, saying I'm enabling alcoholics and that I should be ashamed of myself. A couple of the other guests actually started speaking up. One guy said, "Lady, she's just doing her job. She's not your marriage counselor." Another woman said, "If you didn't want him drinking, maybe you should have talked to him at home instead of making a scene in public." That just made her madder. She pointed at me and said, "You're a disgrace," and then stormed out. My manager told me to take a break in the back for a few minutes to cool off, so I did. When I came back out, a few of the guests who had spoken up gave me sympathetic looks. One lady even left me an extra 10 on her bill with a note that said, "You handled that well."